What if everything you've been taught about failure is wrong? What if it's all a grand collective illusion? What if that sinking feeling in your stomach before a big presentation, the hesitation before starting something new, the quiet, creeping shame of not meeting an expectation? What if all of it stems from a massive misunderstanding of how reality actually works? The fear of failure paralyzes millions, casting a shadow over our brightest ambitions and boldest ideas. We search for solutions in modern self-help books or the latest productivity hacks, hoping to manage or conquer this fear. But what if the key to unlocking a life free from this fear wasn't invented yesterday, but was discovered 2,500 years ago by a man sitting under a tree? This isn't about just managing your fear with coping mechanisms. This is about dissolving it at the very root. Let's be honest with ourselves for a second. Have you ever put off applying for a job because you were afraid you wouldn't get it? Have you ever silenced a creative idea because you worried what other people might think? Or maybe, just maybe, you've stayed in a situation that made you miserable simply because the vast, unknown territory of leaving felt more terrifying than the certainty of your quiet suffering? If you answered yes to any of these, you are in the company of almost everyone. We live in a culture that worships at the altar of success and demonizes failure. From a young age, we're taught that life should be a relentless, upward trending graph. We scroll through meticulously curated highlight reels on social media, and we internalize the toxic message that any misstep is not just an event, but a damning verdict on our character. The pain of this fear is visceral. It shows up as anxiety, as a tightness in our chest, as a knot in our stomach, and most insidiously, as that persistent inner critic who whispers that we're just not good enough. In Buddhism, this deep, underlying dissatisfaction and unease with life is known as dukkha. It's the constant friction of being alive, the hum of discontent that comes from wanting things to be permanent, predictable, and pleasant in a world that is none of those things. The fear of failure is a potent and pervasive form of dukkha. It arises when we try to control outcomes, to build a monument of success in a world always in motion. We get attached to an idealized future one, where we get the promotion. Our art is celebrated, and everyone admires us. When reality threatens that fantasy, we feel fear. We're not just afraid of an outcome. We're afraid of losing a carefully constructed identity. The modern world pours gasoline on this fire. We're told to hustle, to crush our goals, to never give up. While the advice might seem motivating, it can turn every project into a do-or-die mission, every setback into a personal defeat. Buddhist philosophy offers a radically different way. It doesn't ask you to fight fear or suppress it. Instead, it invites you to turn toward it with curiosity and understand its origins in a universal truth. A core pillar of the Buddhist teaching is anicca, or impermanence. It's simple but profound. Everything is always changing. Nothing is permanent. Nothing is fixed. Think of a river you can never step into the same one twice. Your body isn't what it was 7 years ago. Thoughts and feelings are like clouds, they pass. The world is not a collection of objects, but a flowing, interconnected process. So, what does this have to do with fear of failure? Everything. Our fear is rooted in the illusion of permanence. We treat failure like a permanent stain. A failed test becomes, I am a failure. A breakup becomes, I am unlovable. We chisel transient events into monuments of identity. But the wisdom of anicca shows us that failure is a passing moment, not a definition. A failed project is just an event that has already passed. The sting of rejection is a feeling that will change. When impermanence sinks into your bones, the fear of failure loses its grip. How can something paralyze you when it cannot last? This isn't detachment or apathy. It's holding your identity, goals, and emotions with a gentle, open hand. When you clench your fist around a handful of sand, your arm tenses, and you lose it anyway. But with an open palm, you appreciate its texture for the moment it's there. So next time fear shows up, pause, take a breath. Remind yourself, this is impermanent. This fear is impermanent. You're not denying fear. You're seeing it as a passing cloud in the vast sky of your awareness. If anicca is the law of the universe, then tanha, or craving, is our resistance to it. We cling to what feels good, push away what feels bad, and suffer as a result. Fear of failure is tanha in action. We fear not the act of failing, but losing what we are attached to: our reputation, our security, our identity. There's kama tanha, craving for pleasant experiences. We fear shame and judgment. There's bhava tanha, the craving to become something, like being seen as successful. And vibhava tanha, the craving not to feel something, like embarrassment. These cravings are like stones in a heavy sack we carry while walking life's road. The traveler isn't burdened by the road, but by the sack. With each step, the sack gets heavier. The solution isn't stronger muscles or better balance. It's putting the sack down. That's the practice of non-attachment. It doesn't mean apathy. It means caring deeply without needing a specific result. It means loving the process, not just the prize. Write even if the book doesn't sell. Build even if the business fails. Love even if the relationship changes. When we're attached, anxiety clouds judgment. Letting go clears the mind. It brings playfulness and courage. The fear of failure shrinks because our self-worth no longer hinges on a single outcome. In our culture, failure implies a mistake. We label setbacks as wrong turns. Buddhism offers a freeing idea. There are no mistakes. Each moment is just what it is, a fresh opportunity. Zen Master Suzuki called it one continuous mistake, not a life of errors, but the imperfect effort of practice itself. The Buddha didn't get it right the first time either. He practiced extreme asceticism for years, nearly dying in the process. By those standards, he failed, but that failure taught him the middle way. It was crucial. His greatest failure birthed his greatest wisdom. So when you fall, don't say, "I made a mistake." Ask, "What is this trying to teach me?" Failure becomes curriculum, not condemnation. This shift demands compassion. We speak to ourselves cruelly when we fail. Metta, or loving kindness, is the antidote. Place a hand on your heart. Say, "This is hard. This hurts. May I be kind to myself. May I learn what I need. May I accept myself as I am." This stops the shame spiral and clears your head to learn, not spiral. Life isn't a performance, it's a practice. In performance, one wrong note ruins the piece. In practice, a wrong note teaches. Life is rehearsal, not a one-night show. And in practice, there are no failures, only learning, growth, and the courage to begin again. The Buddha's Noble Eightfold Path is a practical guide to living without fear. First, right view. See reality clearly. When you spiral into, "I'm a failure," remind yourself, "I experienced a failure. This will pass. I can learn." Second, right intention. Before big tasks, set process-based intentions. I will show up, learn, and be kind to myself. Third, right mindfulness. Feel fear's sensations, tightness, heat, breath without the story. Fear feels like this. Don't add meaning. Fourth, right effort. Show up, meditate. Take small, brave steps daily. Not grand leaps, gentle, persistent movement. Fear shrinks with practice, not theory. And fifth, right community. You don't have to do this alone. Share your story. Listen to others. Find a sangha, a support group. Fear thrives in isolation. It dissolves in connection. Together, we remember we're not broken, we're just practicing. Now, take action. Share one outcome you'll hold more lightly this week. A meeting, a goal, a conversation, anything. Just naming it loosens its grip. Let's create a digital sangha in the comments. Let's remind each other that this path is one we walk together. The fear of failure promises safety but delivers regret. It builds walls that only you can unlock. Buddhism gives you the key. Anicca shows failure isn't forever. Tanha reveals it's not the fall, but the clinging that hurts. Loving kindness softens the sting, and mindful effort walks you back to freedom. You are not your failures. You are not your successes. You are the awareness beneath them all. You are the sky, not the storm. May you rest in that. May you walk with courage. And may you always begin again.